Nathan called me a freeloader in front of his mother, our friends, and the waiter who had just poured champagne to celebrate his promotion. The word landed on the white tablecloth like a spill no one could clean. Laughter died mid-breath. His mother, Elaine, tilted her head with a thin smile, the kind she saved for moments when she felt vindicated. The waiter froze. I felt my face heat, but I didn't flinch. "Come on," Nathan said, waving his hand as if he'd dropped a harmless joke. "I mean, let's be honest. I'm the one carrying the financial load now." No. As if he hadn't been carried for years. We were at Bellamy's, the kind of downtown Chicago steakhouse with dark wood and prices meant to intimidate. I'd booked the reservation weeks earlier, timed it around his announcement at Franklin and Rowe. I'd paid the deposit too, from an account Nathan never asked about. Elaine leaned forward. "Nathan's right, Olivia. A promotion changes things. It's time to be realistic." I folded my napkin once neatly. "Realistic how?" Nathan's grin sharpened. "We split everything. Clean. Fair. No more guesswork. No more." He searched for the word, eyes sliding to his mother. "Subsidizing." I nodded. "Okay." The table went quiet again. Elaine blinked. Nathan frowned. He'd expected a fight. Tears. Gratitude. He got agreement. "Okay," he echoed. "Yes," I said. 50-50. Finances and labor." He laughed, relieved. "Great. Then it's settled." On the drive home, he hummed to the radio, one hand tapping the steering wheel, the other heavy on my knee like a claim. I watched the city lights blur past and said nothing. Silence has weight when you know how to use it. That night, while Nathan slept, I opened my laptop at the kitchen table. The same table I wiped down every night. The same calendar taped above it with every appointment, bill date, and obligation color-coded in my handwriting. I pulled up the spreadsheets I'd kept for years. Tuition payments from my private tutoring clients. Venmo receipts. Checks deposited quietly. I'd built a business tutoring executives' kids for college admissions, charging more per hour than Nathan knew. I'd paid the grocery bills when he forgot. Covered the mortgage when his bonuses came late. Booked vacations. Managed repairs. Hosted holidays. Invisible because I let it be. By morning, I'd separated accounts. Canceled the housekeeper. Ended the grocery auto delivery. Unlinked my cards from the utilities. I printed a ledger and slid it across the counter as Nathan gulped coffee, already late. "What's this?" he asked. "Our split," I said. "You're half highlighted." He skimmed it. Mortgage. Insurance. Utilities. Internet. Groceries. Trash. Yard. Chores broken down by hours. "This is excessive." "It's accurate." He snorted. "You're making a point. I'm honoring your request." The first week was a comedy Nathan didn't find funny. He burned pasta. Forgot trash day. Paid the electric bill twice and the water bill not at all. He ordered takeout nightly and complained about the cost like it was a personal attack. Elaine called to scold me for making things tense. "I'm making things fair," I told her. By the second week, the house changed. Dust gathered. The fridge emptied faster. The lawn went yellow. Nathan stayed later at work, coming home irritated, exhausted, blaming traffic, blaming me. I graded papers at the table and met my tutoring clients over Zoom, the deposits pinging my phone like a metronome. On Friday, a letter arrived from the bank. I left it unopened on the counter. He found it that night. "What is this?" His voice cracked. "Open it," I said. He did. "Missed payment. Warning. Fees." "That's not possible," he said, panic edging his words. "I paid." "Your half," I said. "On time." He looked at me like the room had shifted. "You're doing this to punish me." "No," I said. "I'm doing what you asked." Elaine showed up unannounced the next day, heels clicking with authority. "This is cruel," she said, scanning the cluttered kitchen. "A wife supports her husband." I slid a binder onto the table. It thudded, heavy. "Open it." She did. Receipts. Statements. Calendars. Proof. Nathan stood behind her, color draining from his face as pages turned. The Napa trip. My account. The emergency fund that covered his shortfall 2 years ago. My account. The mortgage supplements. Mine. Elaine's mouth tightened. You hid this. I didn't hide, I said. You didn't look. Nathan sank into a chair. Why didn't you tell me? You never asked. Silence stretched, thick and trembling. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced down, swallowed. It's my mom. Elaine lifted her chin. I know. He looked up at me, eyes wet, stripped of certainty. What do you want, Olivia? I met his gaze, steady. Visibility. The front door opened behind us. Elaine's voice cut in, sharp and urgent. Nathan, there's something you need to know. I turned as the truth walked in. Elaine didn't sit. She stood in the doorway like a verdict, purse clutched tight, eyes darting between Nathan and me. There's money, she said bluntly. Money you never told me about. Nathan's head snapped up. What? She stepped inside and closed the door behind her, lowering her voice as if the walls might testify. Your father and I set aside an account years ago. For you. For security. I kept it separate because I didn't trust influences. Her gaze flicked to me. My stomach tightened, but I said nothing. Nathan stood. How much? Elaine hesitated. Enough. Enough for what? He pressed. For when things went wrong, she said. Which, clearly, they have. I laughed once, sharp. So that's it. You accused me of freeloading while sitting on a secret safety net. Elaine bristled. That was different. Was it? I asked. Because it looks exactly the same from where I'm standing. Nathan ran a hand through his hair, the confidence he'd worn like armor since his promotion now cracked beyond repair. You both kept things from me. No, I said. We protected ourselves from assumptions. The next weeks were brutal in a way that couldn't be smoothed over with apologies. Nathan tried to keep up with the split, really tried this time. He took cooking classes online, learned how to budget without leaning on invisible buffers. He missed meetings because the plumber didn't show. He forgot his mother's birthday because he was juggling bills. And slowly, painfully, he began to understand. One night, near midnight, I found him asleep at the table, head resting on my old ledger. The same one he'd scoffed at weeks earlier. I didn't wake him. I covered him with a blanket and went to bed alone. Therapy was his idea. Transparency was mine. We laid everything bare. Accounts, schedules, expectations. My tutoring income. His salary. Elaine's emergency fund. The counselor didn't flinch. She called it what it was. Power disguised as provision. Elaine didn't like the changes. She called less. When she did, Nathan stopped putting her on speaker. He stopped repeating her words like scripture. One evening, he came home early, eyes rimmed red. I told her no, he said. To what? To moving her money into my account. She said I needed control again. And what did you say? I asked. I said control isn't partnership. The words sat between us, fragile and new. The final reckoning came at Thanksgiving. Elaine hosted, as she always had, the table set like a performance. Halfway through dinner, she raised her glass. To Nathan, she said, for finally stepping into his role. I felt the old heat rise, but Nathan stood. No, he said calmly. To Olivia. Forks paused midair. Elaine frowned. Nathan. She carried this family when I thought I was doing it alone, he continued. She worked 2 jobs. Ran this house. Protected our future. And I called her a freeloader. Elaine's face hardened. You're exaggerating. I'm confessing, he said. Silence fell, heavy and irreversible. After dinner, as dishes clinked and relatives whispered, Elaine pulled me aside. You've changed him. I met her gaze. No. I stopped covering for him. She studied me, then nodded once stiffly. It wasn't an apology. It was surrender. Weeks later, Nathan and I signed a new agreement. Not because we didn't trust each other, but because we finally did. Shared accounts. Shared labor. Quarterly check-ins. No invisible loads. No silent sacrifices. On a quiet Sunday morning, I watched him plan the week at the kitchen table, my color-coded calendar open in front of him. He looked up. I never saw how much this took. I know, I said. I see it now. That night, as we turned out the lights, he reached for my hand, not possessively, not proudly. Carefully. I don't want to be equal on paper, he said. I want to be equal in effort. I squeezed his hand. Then keep looking. Because equality isn't loud. It's visible.